than that.
Well, before we do that, do you know what I've just realised?
What's that?
We've just shattered the illusion that we haven't filmed a few of these on the same day, because I'm still wearing that Forfar shirt. But I was in Forfar with Ali.
Damn, put the jacket on.
Oh, yeah.
Put the jacket on.
Ali has had to go home, sadly, so we don't have a cameraman. So we're doing a similar thing to what we did up at Station Park by balancing the...
It's good though, it's authentic, isn't it?
I've got Hannah's got a wee stand for the iPad there, so we've...
Right.
So, I mean, people might recognise this bench.
Really?
Yeah, you can see it. You can see it, can't you? Just a bit of it.
Just got this graphic.
So for those of you who don't know, this is the bench outside. Which stand is it? Come on, you're the Dundee fan. This is the Cox, eh?
God's sake, I'm testing you.
Yeah, I know.
Because you are basically
almost
a
as
Dundee
if
fan, are you?
it's almost as if I'm not the Dundee fan and should necessarily know which.
I mean, Dan's just pretending. He definitely knew what stand it was.
And Marc's just pretending because he's actually a Hearts fan, as we all know.
Oh, right,
After last season. But speaking of last season,
yeah,
wasn't great, was it?
no, it wasn't at all, mate. No, it was pretty piss poor, and unfortunately we got relegated, didn't we?
Yeah.
But it's sad, Daniel. You know, it's sad.
Because the year before, we were just talking about how we were also here in this part of Dens with our very expensive bottles of Lidl champagne.
Oh,
Definitely, well, actually no Prosecco.
definitely.
Let's be honest.
It was like premium though, isn't it?
Like
It was
for $3.99 a bottle or something. Yeah.
That's premium for
Formula One style, spraying it everywhere. In fact, I'll try and find that clip of us here and play that over.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
That was back in the days when you were beating Kilmarnock, and now they're now in the league above you.
What can I say? It's a funny old game though, Daniel. It's a funny old game.
So what went wrong?
Well,
I mean, we've touched on it before.
We've talked about
briefly.
We've talked about it plenty of times. I mean, we definitely know that the capabilities was there to kick on and progress and solidify ourselves in the SPL, but I don't know what's happening. I think, like as we've said, I think the big part of it was ultimately was the coaching.
Or lack thereof.
The lack thereof of coaching, and obviously McPake done very well for his first time in a job, getting us promoted. But as we've discussed before, I think once he got to the step of getting up there, going like thanks for your work, James, even to keep him in a coaching capacity or something, you know, but maybe not as the head of management and first and having that ultimate pressure trying to stay up and ultimately try. I know maybe top 6 was a bit of a push, but even just solidify yourself as like 10th and above, stay clear
like
the relegation spots.
You said, maybe unlike Ali, and then when we get on to doing like Robbie's video that I mentioned before that we're going to try and do it at Tynecastle at some point, probably next month. There'll probably be spoiler alert. Well, not spoiler. This is what, Thursday night now. On the Sunday, me and Marc and a few of my pals, we're off to Poland for the week for my stag do. So 4 years too late for this stag. Well, no, it would have been 2 years too late. But anyway, by the by. So we're kind of getting some videos in now to sort of tide everyone over, because I know we've known many of them for a couple of weeks.
No,
but in July we are planning to go to Edinburgh for the day.
Yep.
To do Hearts and Hibs with Kenzie and Robbie.
That'll be good.
We are also planning a jaunt to Glasgow to do Parkhead with me and hopefully, if he's available, our pal John, who is the sort of token zombie amongst our friendship group. So you might actually get me outside Outrocks if we can find a bench or some AstroTurf or something to sit on and do the video with. But so we've kind of gone into Celtic and Dundee, obviously, with another club. So we'll Park last season, we've done it to death. What is your thoughts going into the new campaign with this new manager? What do you think Dundee can do?
I mean, we'll start off with first as the new manager himself. So Gary Bowyer, I mean, he's the only managerial career he's had is within England.
So I heard he was at Salford last season, so I know nothing about him. So I'm guessing you've looked into him.
Yeah, so like basically he was a bit of like a kind of Blackburn legend as such, and then he ended up
just like Alan Shearer. You've basically got Alan Shearer.
Exactly. So he's going to be our caretaker. But sorry, he was Blackburn's caretaker, and he done a pretty good job, and then he got kept on, and he was the manager for them for like way over 100 games. I've had a look at it. Done 108 games in total as their manager.
In England these days, that's not bad.
He worked out roughly about like a 35% win average, it's not great, but it's not bad for a first manager's gig. Like the most notable part of his career was at Blackpool, and it was 2016-2017 season. He got them promoted to League One.
Well, that's good in
from League
itself.
Two.
So he's got previous experience of getting
promotion.
promoted from a lower league. So
Aye.
that's obviously
Yeah.
something to be tick.
Aye, and I think that was like the most notable, because then he's had a couple of gigs thereafter, but the most recent one was Salford, and Salford, there's a documentary show obviously because it's got Gary Neville and all the the 90s
92 guys, yeah.
So like me and Robbie actually watched it, and it's quite good. If you haven't watched it, give it a watch. It is a good documentary. But like they are firing through managers because they're hunting to obviously just fire through the leagues as quickly as possible. So he got kind of brought in at an awkward time halfway through the season. But like he ended up picking up like manager of the month and everything when he came in charge halfway through and got them to the playoff, I think. But he didn't quite get them there, but then he had another crack the next season for a full season, but then I think they just parted ways. But I looked at his percentage there as well, his win percentage, and he got about 50%, which was really good for the first season. The second season, I think it was slightly less. It's about 45%. But looking at that, I think like it's a good pedigree, and ultimately what we've been screaming for, what I've been screaming for on the podcast is someone with actual experience as a manager. And I think like it is nice that he's been at a few teams. He's got a good mixture of experience being in the Championship, League One, getting that promotion. League Two, then getting that promotion to League One. And obviously he's now...
This is it, he's not just got experience of not really doing much,
Exactly,
maybe like your last manager.
Youth coaching and stuff.
McGee was kind of like a sort of a dinosaur of Scottish football. He hadn't really achieved much. He was kind of like, at best, a mid-table manager in Scotland.
I mean, that was farcical at the end of the day, because, I mean, we all know that we've spoken
done that
about
to death as well.
But, yeah, it was a bit farcical last season, and I'm kind of glad to see that we've actually got someone in with a bit of pedigree, and hopefully they can... I mean, again, he's gonna chance here to have like a big team in Scotland and work with them, and there's a lot of potential here. So I'm just hoping that he does a good job with us.
Yeah, what you don't want is Dundee turn into like a Norwich or a West Brom, just a team that's going to go up and down forever.
Yeah.
Like you said, you need to get up and stay up, solidify. So hopefully Boyer's the man that can do that. Are you confident that you can come up this year? Winning the league, or are you thinking?
You know what?
I'm
not going to lie. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm going to put my neck on the line here. I would say, like looking at this year's championship, I would say it's the weakest championship it's been in a long time.
Clip that, Dan. Future Dan.
I mean, looking at obviously, I know that you've got Queen's Parkcliffe came up. You've got
and you're not even getting a trip to Hampden.
I know, mate. I know.
Shite,
I know. But you've got a lot of teams that are willing to spend money in there. But I would say that if you look at obviously you've got ourselves, Arbroath, Ayr. Dunfermline's obviously got relegated there as well, that's another big club to get relegated to there. I think Airdrie got promoted as well, did they? I think it was Airdrie.
Can't remember.
But I mean, looking at it, I would say it's probably the weakest it's been in a long time. I know that you're looking at me already, but
I'm just waiting for this first Angus derby with Arbroath.
But you know what? The thing that's kind of worrying me, Dan, is there's literally been no additions to the team.
Well, I'm going to say you haven't brought anyone in, have you? It's not just me that's not missed it. You've not brought anyone in. Is there anyone that would be immediately you think Boyer's associated with that might bring in? Like the example I always give was as soon as Rodgers came in at Celtic in 2016. We were immediately linked with players like Fabio Barini and Scott Sinclair who ended up signing. How some players follow managers. Is there anyone like that fits that with Boyer? That you've been linked with?
The only slight rumour that's came through the other day was a boy called Stuart McKinstry or something. He's a winger at Leeds.
Right.
But he's only a young lad. He's only 18 or something, 18, 19, and he was I believe he was at Motherwell. And he made the move to Leeds a couple of years ago, but I don't think he's obviously going to get the chance because they're in the Prem. So I think that apparently the rumour is he's going to come to us on a free. So that's the only thing I've heard. And he's came out in the conference recently and he said that he's actually quite happy with the squad that they've got. And I think this is, like I was saying to you, Dan, obviously you weren't at that game, but it was the Hibs game. I went to and I know it's a nothing game really, But we absolutely thumped Hibs that game.
And you predicted it at Hampden in your drunk state.
Wise Mark.
I know we're shite, right? But generally, I've watched Dundee all season, right? And we're fucking 3 teams off the park. I'm not taking piss, right? But we fucking do. We're actually decent. But we can't score for shit, and I get that. But I generally think, after watching this, we could easily fucking
You're a representative of Bet365. Really?
Fuck off, absolutely not, mate.
I'd be in the cop.
Behave. But no, I genuinely think that we have got a lot of good young players coming through, and I would like to see them given a chance next season. And I think Bowyer is going to do that. The one thing that I would say is a big miss and we need to rectify it is Charlie Adam. In terms of, I know he didn't really do it last season, I get that, and you've seen a lot of the games, think he was finished, but I obviously went to basically all the games, and I'm not going to lie, there was a lot of moments of magic from him where he would pick out a pass and that bit of creativity.
The worrying thing, I thought, was that he was clearly finished, but you didn't win a game when he wasn't playing. And that was, I think that was the difference. Well, they weren't performing to a good enough level at that level.
Nah.
Hopefully that obviously changes next year.
But you see, the thing is as well, mate, right, is obviously that I don't know where I was missing, right, because that Hibs game, I know I keep going back on it, but it's the most recent game that I remember us actually winning. That they used Charlie Adam brilliantly because they brought him on the last 20 minutes of the game. And he came on and was instrumental. He was creating chances and he scored an absolute raker, if you remember that as well.
Yeah.
And that was the last game that obviously he's played.
Do you think he would have
against.
maybe been worth keeping for another year just to bring on for half an hour?
I would definitely
and go
say so.
100% for half an hour rather than 40% for 80 minutes or something.
I would definitely say so because.
Is he totally gone? He's not been kept as a coach or anything like that? He's totally
been gone. He's been told to go. And I think he came out and said that he wasn't treated that well by the club. Because I think he was wanting to stay, but there was a lack of communication. But I mean, I imagine he was on decent wages as well. So I'm just hoping with the wages that they use that they bring in a similar type of player that's creative. Probably, obviously not going to be the same level technically, but hopefully we get a younger version that can.
You need to start looking at guys. We've talked again
or
before.
squad
Somebody
players,
like Finlay Robertson's got to step up next season to be that creative player. Or a Marc Sanderson. I know he's a different kind of player, but he's really got to step up and be the man in midfield.
The thing I would say is,
if you're not going to bring somebody in, I think one of them is going to have to do that. McGowan, of course.
The thing I would say is, I know we spoke about it before, but I think ultimately the core that we have at Dundee, I think there is a good bunch of players there.
Again, I've seen enough of them to know there was something missing last year, and it probably was that manager. There is good players there.
Aye.
They played under themselves. Of course, they deserve to go down because they didn't get the results in the pitch, but. With that core, and we said it in our end of the season podcast with Robbie and Mick, forgotten his name. Mick, sorry Mick, I knew your name. I think with a few additions, I don't think there's any reason why you can't bounce straight back up. Whether or not it's playoffs again or going for the title, but I think you need to be aiming for the title.
Definitely. Like I said, and I know I keep saying it is going to come back and haunt me, but it is generally, if you look on paper, it is probably the weakest championship it's been in a long time. Because, I mean, when we went down, obviously, you know when Hearts romped it, then we obviously got up out of the playoffs. But, I mean, that was a hard league, you know what I mean?
Hearts romped that. I was talking about that earlier on today with one of my pals in the work.
Aye.
And, they walked it because, they went all in and said, right, we're going to spend probably as if we were still in the SPL just to get back up.
Definitely.
But Dundee just don't have the ability to do that, do they?
But what I mean is as well, if you look at previous years, obviously United were stuck down there for a few seasons.
4 seasons they were down there.
Had Kelly obviously, then they've shot right back up.
Because they did that. They kind of went all in.
And then you've obviously.
I just think Dundee. Well, we know Dundee don't have the finances to do that, especially because they keep planning on this new stadium.
I know.
And I don't think they also don't have the pulling power of a team like Hearts in that league, because Dundee aren't going and getting guys like Stephen Kingsley, for example, in the Championship. You wouldn't get him in the SPL.
No chance.
So
because they're able to offer the big wages, Dan. But I would say like I think this is a very good chance for us to go and get the title, and as you said, there's definitely a good core there, and we've got a lot of young players that are coming through, but they need to just showcase that, and hopefully this season will give them the time to develop and really take it by the balls essentially and just
I think it's already looking brighter than it was at the close season.
Aye.
Anyway, so that at least there's that. So before we wrap up this week,
Aye.
Ali's quite confident for the League Cup game that we'll be here in a few weeks.
Against Forfar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What do you think?
We'll thump them.
We'll thump them. Was it
going-
5-2 last season? It was a bit of a mental game.
Nah, it was more than that.
Was it?
Mate. I think it was maybe 7 or something.
Was it? I need to double check
His
that.
partner
but
was it?
It was,
Partner
that was our
that
first
day.
ever vlog when I
It
filmed
was.
it the wrong way.
Aye.
I was learning.
Now work here, look at
That's
us.
it, professional.
But I'll go for a nice wee 5 now. Nice wee 5
So the next time you see me and him, probably on a video together,
now. Aye.
we'll be here at that game, unless there's some leaked Krakow footage. Oh, but that'll not make it.
Cheery bye.
Cheery bye.
Heaven was okay.